Hey guys, what's up? Jimmy here with another Lots of Games video, and welcome to episode 1 for super cheap Nintendo GameCube games. I've got some really great games I'm going to go over with you guys today, and for those of you guys that want to check out some of the other episodes in the series, I've gone over games for the PS4, Xbox One, PS2, 360, PS3. I'll include a super cheap games playlist link that you guys can check out in the video description below. And if you really like these types of videos and want to see more, definitely slap that thumbs up button so I can know to make more of these types of videos. I really enjoy doing these types of videos. The thing with the Nintendo GameCube now, unfortunately, here's the thing with like first party titles like Luigi's Mansion and like Super Mario Strikers, a lot of other first party games, unfortunately those ones you'll have to pay a pretty penny. You'll definitely have to pay for the most part more than $20, but those are games that are definitely worth talking about. I'll do another episode in the not too distant future talking about great games for the GameCube first party titles, but these are ones that you can pick up on the cheap, but they're pretty awesome, and I'm really excited to go over with these games with you guys right now. Right now is a title, and for a time it was actually a Nintendo GameCube exclusive, and when it was exclusive, people kind of went nuts, just the importance of it. But when it was launched on the Nintendo GameCube, it made a big impression. It still has been a huge impression. It's been remade and ported to a lot of different consoles. You can pick it up right now, pre-owned on eBay for $15, and you can pick it up pre-owned at Amazon.com for around $12. And I am talking about Capcom's Resident Evil 4. Here is an awesome third-person shooter with an incredible level of atmosphere. So much fun is to be found with the gunplay with this game and the different weapons that you'll get to collect. Now, you might be thinking, okay, it's around $15 or $12, depending on where I get it. That's pretty good. But here's the thing with this type of game. It is such a good game. You play through it. Chances are, in the not too distant future, you'll want to play through this game again. Now, not the best story in the world, but it's a good, decent story. I mean, you have to save the President of the United States' daughter. Pretty cool. And again, as I mentioned earlier, an awesome level of atmosphere. The sound effects for like the guns, the weapons, and the areas that you'll be in, the sound effects are actually quite solid, quite excellent. And for the price, this is a great price. And the great thing about this one, they did have a version for the Wii, but also you can play the GameCube version on the Wii as well. You can play GameCube games on the Wii. Check out Resident Evil 4, guys, if you're looking for a high-quality, action-packed, creepy third-person shooter. Also, it has some pretty intense, epic boss battles. I definitely have to mention that. So definitely check out RE4. Okay, so next up is a title, an awesome action RPG with using the Marvel franchise. You can pick it up right now, $11 pre-owned on eBay, or also around $11 pre-owned on Amazon.com. And I am talking about XMen Legends. Now, this is a great action RPG that not only can you play solo, but also with your friends with some local co-op. I have to read you guys a review. On Metacritic.com, there was one review from a publication called Nintendo Joe. And this is what the reviewer said. They gave this game a 94 out of 100. And they say, "I demand a sequel. You hear me, Activision? I must have it. There are so many possible storylines and fresh villains to use. I would easily pay upwards of $200 for a sequel." That's saying something. Now, the great news is that there was in fact a sequel, but that is going to be for another time and another video. So with XMen Legends, of course, you get to take part and play multiple different characters in the X-Men universe. And the great thing is you can play throughout this awesome action RPG, again, with your friends in co-op, up to 4 players. If you are a fan of high quality, again, there's a lot of bad comic book games or movie tie-in games. This one is quite excellent. And it's an awesome action RPG. And I think you guys would really, really like this. And to be able to get this one for around $11 is a must buy, especially if you're looking. I know there's sometimes a hard time to find some quality co-op games that you can play on the cheap. You've got some cool co-op games on the GameCube, but some of them are quite expensive. This is not going to be your problem. You'll be able to pick this one up on the cheap, have a great experience, and there's also a sequel. Again, we'll talk about the sequel for another video, but check out XMen Legends, guys, for around 11 bucks. It's a whole lot of fun. I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. Okay, so next up is a very fun and exciting fighting game you can pick up for $15 pre-owned on eBay and also around $15 on Amazon.com, and that is Namco's Soul Calibur 2. The great thing about the GameCube version is you get to play as Link. One of the selectable characters is Link. Now, I'll be one of the first to admit that Link is not the best character in this list of fighters that you can select. However, you do get to play as Link, which is totally awesome, whether you're using your bow or using your sword. This, guys, is a phenomenal, phenomenal fighting game. Years ago, when I first had my GameCube, my brother-in-law, we actually went to a Game Crazy store, and they had a Soul Calibur 2 tournament. I didn't do so well. My brother-in-law actually did a whole lot better than me, and he got close to the finals. And I don't know, this is just an awesome example of the type of fighters that I'm really into. I'm a big fan of 2D fighters, but this is a great example of what a 3D fighter should be. Great list of characters, awesome list, a set list of moves, a kind of interesting and engaging story, although brief. Really cool cutscenes, really well put together soundtrack. Guys, this is a great fighting game, and for around $15, a great game to be able to play with your friends on the GameCube. Check out Soul Calibur 2, guys. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Okay, so next up is a title, actually, for a time it was an exclusive on the Nintendo GameCube. And this is a game that I saw, I'm like, oh man, I got to get this. I love the cel-shaded look. And actually, this is the first game I bought. And that is Beautiful Joe. Now, this one was actually Beautiful Joe right now. You can pick up around $15 on eBay pre-owned. And it's a little bit higher on Amazon.com. But the folks that were responsible for this title, I believe Clover, they're not around anymore. But this one is just a really cool example of what was available on the GameCube back in the day. The story's told in comic book fashion, and the different levels that you'll get to play are so varied. And the cool thing about Beautiful Joe is you have this VFX power where as you're fighting and battling out with the different enemies, you'll get to slow things down in slow motion, which makes things pretty epic, or you'll get to zoom in and also move things and fight different enemies in Mach speed. And there's certain levels where there'll be kind of like these puzzles, or from to get to point A to point B, where you have to use the VFX power. And it's actually done in a very, very awesome way. This, guys, is a great game, Beautiful Joe. There was a sequel, which we'll talk about at another time, around $15. I think you guys really enjoy this. Great little story. It's got voice acting. It's got these cool little cheesy cutscenes. Definitely some cheesy one-liners, but I love it. I really enjoyed it. And it's unfortunate that this franchise is not around anymore, but you can pick it up for a really great deal and enjoy it and see why I really had a blast with it. Okay, so next up is a title you can pick up pre-owned on eBay for $10 and around $7 on Amazon.com. and that is 007 Everything or Nothing. Now, I did not know about this title. I was nervous about it because, of course, one of the legendary titles on the Nintendo 64 is GoldenEye. This was released after GoldenEye, and this is during an era where EA Games had the license to produce James Bond games. And I was like, oh shoot, oh gosh, a James Bond game by EA, this is going to be really bad. They did that follow-up to GoldenEye, which was awful. But you know what? This is actually a pretty awesome game. It's not first person, it is in third person, and then the different levels that you'll play throughout have a lot of variety to them. And I was pleasantly surprised with this one. And the great thing is not only can you play throughout this game, in solo, but also you can play throughout the campaign in co-op. So if you want, not a whole lot of third-person shooters out there that you can play throughout. Most of them, it's a solo thing, but you can actually play throughout this one. If you have a friend on the couch, in a chair, you play throughout the co-op James Bond game with your friend, which is awesome. And for around $10, that's a really great deal. If you've got a GameCube, this is definitely a no-brainer, especially if you're a fan of James Bond and 007 and all the spy intense moments. Check out 007 Everything or Nothing. Okay, so next up is a title you can pick up for around $15 pre-owned on eBay and also around $15 on Amazon.com. And that is Star Wars Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2. Okay, this one actually, got this one. I'm not sure if it ever ended up on the PS2, but it's at first, when it was originally launched, it was only available on the Nintendo GameCube. If you're a fan of Star Wars, this is a must-buy. I know there's a lot of different Star Wars games out there, but this one is really, really good. Unfortunately, the folks that were responsible for this game, Factor 5, they were also the ones that did Lair on the PS3. They tried to do something new with Lair on the PS3. It didn't end up working out so well for them. But in Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2, there are over 11 missions that you get to take place in. Whether it's the Death Star or Cloud City or Hoth, and it's got some really great voice acting as well. This is definitely a must-buy, guys. A unique Star Wars experience that I think you guys will really, really enjoy. And for around $15, definitely worth it to add to your GameCube collection. Okay, so next up is actually, according to a lot of people, a lot of you out there, is a pretty legendary 3D platforming game that you can pick up pre-owned on eBay for around $16 and around $19 on Amazon.com. And that is Spongebob Squarepants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Now, there definitely were some SpongeBob SquarePants games back in the day. There's still SpongeBob SquarePants games that have been released in recent time. But this one actually, a lot of people feel that this is probably one of the best, if not the best one, with a great level of variety. Of course, you get to play as SpongeBob, you get to play as Patrick, and you also get to play as Sandy, and each one of them has unique moves, move lists that they can take part in. Has a great, most of the voice actors are in this game, and it's just a lot of fun. And the game plays very, very well. I know with the PS2 and the GameCube, and the original Xbox, there were definitely some games where the 3D platforming was quite wonky, but for the most part, the gameplay still holds up even today. And of course, a lot of, again, I already said this, but movie tie-in games, show tie-in games, comic book tie-in games aren't that good. This one's quite good, and it's definitely worth your time, guys. And some people, it's in their, I'm just seriously saying this, a lot of people out there, it's one of their favorite 3D platforming games. And that's really saying something, because there's a lot of great 3D platforming games out there. Spongebob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom. Check it out, guys, and see what all the fuss is about. Okay, guys, so my final game I'm going to go over with you guys is a game you can pick up pre-owned on eBay and Amazon for around $17, $18. It's actually one of my favorite games, especially if you are interested in playing with your friends. Great party game, and that is Super Monkey Ball 2. Okay, this has a ton of different levels to it and a ton of different modes. It's got a story mode, it's got some great party games, and there are 150 stages. The different modes you got soccer, racing, dogfight, baseball, tennis, golf, and again, as I mentioned, there is a story mode as well. This one, especially if you're playing against your friends, trying to outdo your friends, you can have a whole lot of fun with this title. This was actually one of the favorites on the Nintendo GameCube. I'm not exactly sure what happened with the Super Monkey Ball franchise and if it ever will come back, but it would be awesome if it could, because this is a game that's just a whole lot of fun, and it's not the most complex game, but to be able to master these different levels can be quite challenging. But once you overcome them, you're like in these little narrow lanes that you have to maneuver your ball through sometimes. And when you can get from point A to point B, I know it sounds kind of simple, getting from point A to point B, and you're successful at it and do it in a timely manner, it can be very, very rewarding. Definitely check out, guys, Super Monkey Ball 2. I think you guys will enjoy it and have a whole lot of fun with it. Well, guys, there are 8 super cheap GameCube games that you guys can pick up. And again, guys, if you enjoy these types of videos, hit that thumbs up button so I can know to make more. And let me know what you want me to show for if I do an episode 2 for super cheap Nintendo GameCube games. Again, unfortunately, most of the first party titles are titles by Nintendo. You'll have to spend a pretty penny for the most part. But let me know in the comment section below what games you want me to cover for episode 2 for super cheap GameCube games. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you later.